everyone. Today I wanted to take some time to talk about a digital therapy program that I did last year in 2020, run by a company called Joyable. Anxiety is something that I have struggled with for a really long time, and I've tried, various forms of therapy in the past to help with it, and it just never really worked out. When I heard about Joyable, I was kind of skeptical because, you're doing it digitally rather than face to face, and I just thought that the whole mobile mental health app space felt kind of gimmicky. So I was definitely skeptical, but I decided to give it a shot anyway, and it ended up actually really helping me, and it worked way better than other therapy that I've tried in the past. So I basically just wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk a little bit more about what the program's actually like and what my experience was like and what I liked about it, so that hopefully it can answer some of your questions if you had any about Joyable, or if you've never heard about Joyable. Maybe this video will help you decide whether or not it's something that you want to try out. So let me start off by summarizing again what Joyable actually is. Joyable is a subscription-based digital therapy mobile app that uses cognitive behavioral therapy to help people manage their anxiety and depression. They were founded in 2013, and their programs are actually designed by researchers, doctors, and authors from prestigious universities and institutions. Okay, so for those of you who've never heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, because I definitely didn't know what that was when I started Joyable, it's just one form of therapy out of the many, many different types of therapy that exists. CBT specifically is built around the belief that a lot of the things that we struggle with or that keep us up at night are caused by learned patterns of unhelpful or toxic ways of thinking about ourselves. And because these are learned patterns of thinking, as opposed to something that's inherently wrong with us, CBT believes that there is a way for us to actually unlearn these things and replace them with healthier thinking patterns that can actually help us cope with our problems and basically live our lives the way that we want. I actually got introduced to Joyable from a friend who had tried or was trying the program at the time and was really enjoying it. So because she was someone I trusted, I figured I might as well just give it a shot. Before that point, I'd probably stopped therapy for about 8 months. I broke up with my last therapist because I felt like she just wasn't the right fit for me anymore. And then I took that 8-month break because I just really didn't want to go through the process of having to find a new therapist. When my friend introduced me to Joyable, it was actually a really, good time for me to find out about the program, because I was super, super restless all the time, both physically and mentally. I just feel like I couldn't relax, almost like I didn't deserve to relax. And I constantly had this feeling of wanting to do a lot of things, but not feeling brave enough or energetic enough to do it. And it just made me feel really, really stuck, but also at the same time more and more restless because I wasn't getting rid of that extra energy by doing the things that I said I wanted to do. So it's pretty easy to get started with Joyable. All you have to do is download their app on your phone. It is, again, a subscription-based app, and the subscription costs $99 a month, but there is a 7-day free trial so that you can try it out for a week first if you don't want to commit just yet. When I started the program, there were 3 available tracks. So when you download the app, you essentially take a quiz to see which track is going to benefit you the most. For me, I got put on the Generalized Anxiety track, which was no surprise to me. So the rest of this video, I'm really just going to speak to the structure and content of that track, since I'm not really sure what the social anxiety and depression tracks are like. For the Generalized Anxiety app, there were 8 learning modules in that track. And it's split one module per week. So essentially, it should take around 8 weeks for you to finish the entire track, which means you should plan on subscribing for at least 2 months. So the other portion, which is the chatting component, is facilitated by a coach. And the coach is someone who has been trained in CBT techniques that's essentially going to check in with you every week to talk about what you learned in the modules and also help talk through how to apply some of the techniques to the issues that you're facing. The modules start off pretty educational in the beginning to just teach you a little bit more about anxiety and different CBT techniques that you can use and apply. And then I would say the second half of the modules, or the second set of modules, are more focused on actually prompting you to reflect on your own anxieties and guiding you to start to apply CBT techniques to your daily life. Added up all together, I would say if you're doing this track or this program, make sure that you have around an hour to an hour and a half every week to dedicate to the program. There are a lot of things that I really liked about the Joyable program. I'll split it up into the two pieces I mentioned earlier, so the content or the self-learning part, and then the coach. So for the content, I thought that it was super easy to understand and read, and it was just the right amount of content every week where I felt like I was learning a lot, but it also wasn't super overwhelming. I also thought that the content was truly really educational, and that education in and of itself brought me a lot of comfort, strangely, because it just felt like the more I understood what anxiety really was, the less it had power over me, and the less it felt like some unknowable, unbeatable monster that just lived in my head, and more of just like, this is what it is, and now that you know what it is, you can remind yourself that that's all it is. So now I want to talk about my coach. Obviously, I can't vouch for every single coach that works at Joyable, but I absolutely loved her. I felt like she was really kind and helpful. She really helped listen to my problems and helped me digest them and work through them without pushing me too hard. I felt like she knew how to nudge me in the right direction so that I could get there on my own. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of outside perspective to make you realize, I think especially with anxiety, that some things are not as intense as they need to be, or as that your head makes them out to be. And I really appreciated her for being that outside voice and really helping me work through those or the issues that I was talking to her about. For me, at least, I'm so used to thinking in certain patterns that I end up repeating those patterns so much that it starts becoming the truth to me. But then when you're able to talk to someone else and you witness how easy it is for people to kind of point out the flawed logic in your supposed truth about yourself, then you kind of snap out of it, and it's easier to realize that it's really just your brain playing tricks on you. There are also a couple of things that I thought they could have done better. The first one is the onboarding experience, and they could have described more of what to expect each week, because I thought that they were kind of vague in the beginning. I just wasn't really sure what to expect. For people who are seeking help, feeling comfortable and aware and just in the know is super important. So I kind of felt like them being vague was counterintuitive, because it was difficult to trust the app or trust the process if you don't really know what you're about to get yourself into. The second thing that I thought they could improve on was the price. It is $99 a month, which is not inexpensive. If you're able to power through the entire 8 weeks consecutively, this will be $200 a month, or $200 total. But if you need to skip a few weeks here and there, it could be more than that. I know that this is not something that everyone can afford. I do think that if this is something you feel like would really help you and that you need, it's definitely worth trying to save up for it. You know, you can budget a little bit every month to save up for the program, or you can see if your insurance or your employer might subsidize some of it. The third thing that I wish they did better was to have a more official graduation from the program. They don't really tell you what to do next after the program's done, besides like keep practicing and message your coach if you need help. But they don't really give you like any actionable like what do I do now type of guidance. Honestly, I feel like they don't do that because you can essentially end your subscription once you're done with the program, and so I feel like they're trying to avoid telling you that. The last thing that I'll say they can improve on is I wish that they made the content still available to you even after the subscription ends, because you know you paid for it, and just because you're not continuing to pay for it doesn't mean you shouldn't have access to the content, because it's not like they're updating the content every week either. So if you're watching this and you do plan on doing the Joyable program, I would say definitely take screenshots of all of the educational content, because you're going to lose access to that once you end your subscription. The first thing I would say is that you genuinely have to want to do it and take it seriously. I know this one is kind of a throwaway tip, but I really do think this is the most important thing, to be self-motivated, to read the content and really digest it. They're not essays by any means, but it is new information, so taking the time to really read through it and digest it and figuring it out, or figuring out what it means to you, I think is really important to getting the most out of the program. The second tip that I have is to take notes and journal. I think with things like these, it's really easy to feel like, you know, all you have to do is just do the 1 hour a week on the app, reading the content, and then talking to your coach, and then you're done for the week. But that's really not it. Like, that is just the beginning of what it is for the week, but it's a process and a journey, and it's something that you really have to work on, not just the day that you decide to sit down and read the content for the week, but every day of that week. How are you going to apply what you just learned to your everyday life? Honestly, no one, and certainly not me, some random person on the internet, can really tell you if the program is right for you. When I first heard about it, again, I was definitely skeptical because it was completely digital, and I was worried that it would be too dry or too distant or non-personal for me. But if anything that I said about my own personal struggles with anxiety resonated with you, or if anything that I said about CBT seemed interesting to you, then this program might be a good fit for you. And I would definitely encourage you to continue doing research if you're still a little bit unsure. I know that some therapists in real life do use CBT techniques in their practice, so it's definitely not something that is isolated to just using Joyable. You can definitely find someone out there who also uses CBT. Joyable definitely won't be for everyone because therapy is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's highly, highly personal. So the more research you can do into it, the better. I think that even if you try out Joyable and it doesn't work for you, it's still an amazing first step, because now you know what doesn't work for you and you're one step closer to finding something that does work for you. And it's also a really great sign of showing yourself that you love yourself and care for yourself, and that you're dedicated to helping yourself feel better. Before I end this video, I just want to take some time to talk a little bit about mental health in general. In the type of society that we live in today, that is just so full of distractions everywhere, so full of triggering content and divisive content on social media, with people bragging about unhealthy grind culture or hustle culture lifestyles, and just things pulling our attention every which way that we look. It's just more important now than ever to take care of our mental health. And I know this is something that I'm sure a lot of people struggle with, myself included. I still struggle with it today. Prioritizing myself and not treating other things as more important than my own mental health. It's so easy to feel like it's something that you can put off or neglect for a while, but the longer that you put it off, the worse it gets. I'm here to tell you that you are the most important thing in your life, and you deserve to live the life that you want. You deserve to wake up and not dread the next 16 hours that you're awake. You deserve to feel like it's not hard to live your life, and you deserve to not feel like you have to be anxious or depressed all the time. I just hope that you do take the time to take care of yourself, and if you need to talk to someone, friends, family, mental health professional, please reach out to someone. And I've never met you, but I love you, and I hope this video helped you and that you have an amazing day.